JC, Wrong and Strong, and today is story time. I'm gonna tell you bits and pieces about my story, and remember, I'm not telling my story to glamorize nothing. I'm not telling it to like boost about nothing. It's to learn off of my mistakes and hopefully get a laugh. And we go from there. Pretty much. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss nothing. And you might just find out I might be just a little bit funny and fun, I think. So when I got released from the feds, I still remember the day. Actually I was working in the kitchen, and my counselor came up and called me, and I thought I was in trouble or something because I had been hanging around with the wrong crowd in the prison, and she was like, roll up, get your stuff, you get ready to leave. And I was like, wait, I thought I had it because I had more time left. I think I had like another 6 months, and she's like, no, roll up, you getting ready to leave. So I went and grabbed my stuff. I was excited, I was scared. I was excited. I was gonna get out. I was scared because it was another, what was I gonna do? I was somewhere different and stuff like that. So went to my unit, pretty much just gave all my shit out to my friends that I knew, and just grabbed whatever I had on my back and left. And they put me in a holding tank. Once I was in the holding tank, they gave me dress out clothes. They gave me a pair of dress slacks and a black dress shirt, collar shirt. I started getting really excited. I started getting like more and more, because you're in disbelief. When you've been in that situation and you've been incarcerated for a while, like you're really in disbelief because you don't really believe that you're getting out. Like, what I mean? It's crazy, but that's how your brain starts working. And they finally came up to the cell. They gave me my bus pass and my $50. So I started getting more excited because I had my Greyhound bus pass. I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna go home. And I was almost in tears because I was so excited. And they started escorting me out, and they walk you through like all the levels of security, the doors and everything, and you got to fill out paperwork and all that stuff. And they walked me all the way to the front. And when we started getting to the front, there was 2 cowboys. Cowboys, hats, boots, belt buckles, everything. And they were just standing at the gate. So I was like, what the hell? Like, is it? Oh, I was like, oh, it's my ride. It's my ride to the Greyhound station, blah, blah, blah. And it was so funny because, like, as soon as they opened that gate and I stepped, one step forward, they were like, Julio Almanza? And I was like, yeah, that's me. I was like, that's me. Well, they told me to put my hands behind my back because I was under arrest, because I had a warrant for my arrest in Chicago, Illinois. So, yeah, I was free for maybe a second. They handcuffed me. They put me in the truck. These were Marshals, Texas. Actually, no, I take that back. They were Texas Rangers. And they took me to the El Paso County Jail in downtown El Paso. They booked me. And and the whole time, I I knew in the back of my head that I had more cases, you know, open on me, obviously, because I had been doing like a lot of bullshit. So like, but it never dawned on me, you know what I mean, like that eventually shit would catch up with me, and it did. So they booked me into the El Paso County Jail in downtown, and I went and I saw a judge. And, you know, obviously he told me that I was wanted in Illinois. It was an awful use of a weapon. It was a shooting that I had got arrested for and caught with the gun. And I still remember that day. I don't know why I forgot that day that I had that, but yeah. World came crashing down. So, you know, they dressed me into the county, put me in the unit, and actually I was really surprised. It was actually a really clean county jail for like you know, where I had been at, like, you know, in Illinois and Mexico and stuff like that. It was actually really clean, and you had a really nice view because you you had these big windows and you could see all of downtown El Paso, you know. And it was so it's so funny because like the family of the inmates that were in there would come to the street in front and draw letters with white towels, and the inmates would knew how to read that, and they would communicate like that. Like their loved ones would come, and, you know, girlfriends and stuff like that, and they would come and do that throughout the day. And I thought it was pretty cool, you know. And, you know, I met some really cool people there that, you know, to this day I'm still friends with. But the story gets even better. All right, so I signed a 30-day extradition paper that if Illinois didn't come and get me in 30 days, they had to release me. Because obviously I didn't commit the crime in El Paso. So I signed the paper. The judge gives me my copy, sends me back to my unit. 29 days pass. Oh, and let me tell you, weekends don't count. So they have to be 30 working days. So weekends don't count. So it ends up being more than that. So 29 days pass. Nobody's, you know, picked me up. So I'm like, man, I'm free to go. Blah, blah. I was like happy. I was like, they're going to have to let me go. And in my head, I'm like, you know, if they let me go from here, I'm not going to turn myself in Chicago as soon as I get there. I'm going to party a little bit. Then I'll turn myself in. Well, they called my name, and I thought it was because they were actually coming to get me, but they called my name and they said they were shipping me to the annex prison. It's a prison that they have in El Paso that's under the ground in the desert, like far out in the desert. I was like, wait, well, why are you shipping me if you guys have to release me tomorrow? You know, Illinois didn't come and get me, so you guys have to release me. The guard told me, they're probably coming to get you. That's probably why we're moving you. So you're going to have to, you know, get ready for transfer. So I grabbed my stuff, little stuff that I had. They transferred me to this prison. It's literally under the ground. It's called the annex. It's in like the desert. And they shipped me out there. Here I am in like a different state, county, don't know nobody, you know. And it's crazy because like I wasn't afraid because of all the time that I had already done in Mexico, and like it was way worse over there. Like it was bad compared to this, but just to be like somewhere like that is crazy, you know, to somebody that, you know, hasn't been through that. And the next day they call me and they're like, we're releasing you. And I was like, what do you mean you're releasing me? Like, you just transferred me over here. And they're like, yeah, they're not coming. They're not going to get you, so we're just going to release you. Okay. So I dress out. I don't have the money no more that the feds gave me because I used that in commissary at the county jail, right? I don't have a bus ticket no more. So these motherfuckers open the door and just pretty much fucking kicked me out in the middle of the desert. The middle of the desert. I'll never forget that day. I remember I came out and I looked, left, I looked right, and you know when it's really hot and you kind of see like those lines in the distance of how hot it is? Yeah, that's what I seen. And I was like, well, where the fuck do I walk, or where do I go? So I went out to the street. It was a highway. I went out to the highway and nothing. I came back. I knocked on the door, and the sheriff fucking snapped at me. He's like, if you don't get off of our property, we're gonna arrest you and we're gonna book you back in again. And I was like, pretty much fucking ran, and I went and I sat on a rock next to the highway, and I didn't know what to do, man. Like, honestly, I was fucked up in the head. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should start walking. I didn't want to fucking die in the desert. So I'll never forget, I'm sitting there on a rock, right? And they release a dude from the prison, and I see 2 lowriders coming in. You gotta put yourself in my position. So in Chicago, there's really not lowriders because of the weather, the potholes in the street. You'll see them, but very, very rarely. Like, it's very, very different. The culture is very, very different. There is no cholos over there, like Mexican Americans. It's a different cultural. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a little bit different. So we don't really have that over there. So this guy was getting out. He was obviously a cholo from El Paso. I had never seen I had seen American Me, but like I just had never seen it up close and personal. So, yeah. So I walked up to him and I was like, hey, I need help. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get to the city. I'm not from here. He ended up actually being really cool. He was all tatted up, the face, everything, and he told me to jump in the lowrider. The lowrider was full with all his homies and friends, and they were all tatted up, and and we start driving, and they start like getting high and drinking in the car, and one of them was actually shooting up dope, and I was like, what the fuck did I get myself into? Like I couldn't. I was like, man, they could fucking just kill me, and nobody will ever fucking know. And it was an experience, man. It was an experience because, like, here you are in another state, don't know nobody, you don't know these people, like, so they give me a ride, right? And I make a phone call to my sister. My sister sends me $200. They take me to the Greyhound station, and the Greyhound is not going to leave until like 12 at night to Chicago. And it's early. It's like probably like 11 or 12 in the afternoon. So homeboy was like, hey, just, come to the pad. We're having a party. There'll be girls there. And when he said there'll be girls there, I was sold. So I was like, cool, I got some money, so I'll buy you guys all the beer and everything. So I bought a bunch of like 24 packs and, went over there to the pad. Yeah, they had a DJ and everything. Straight up fucking cholo party, By the end of the night, I was drunk, I was high, and I was gonna marry homeboy's sister. This turn of events just happened really, really fast. And time came up that I had to like leave to the Greyhound station. And it was so funny because like their whole family rode out with me. Like it was like 4 lowriders, and they all drove me to the Greyhound station, and I was drunk. I was high, I was fucked up. And they gave me a jacket because I didn't have a jacket, and it was kind of chilly. They gave me a jacket, and homeboy's dad, was calling me his son because I was gonna marry his daughter. So he's putting beers in my jacket, and he's like, here for the ride, and you know, take care of yourself, and as soon as you land, let us know, because I had told him that I had a case that I had to take care of, you know, and yeah, they wanted me to marry the daughter and everything, and they were giving me beers and everything. So they dropped me off at the Greyhound station. I jump on the bus, and it was like a scene out of a movie. You know, I was hanging out the window. The bus starts to take off. They're like running with the bus, telling me bye. My future wife is telling me that she loves me, and that moment right there, man, like I'll never forget it. I never forget it. I met some really good people that, you know, I don't think they impacted my life, but I'll never forget them. And you know, then my trip to Chicago started on that bus where I met this military guy, and that's another story though, man. Hey, I can tell you guys, I don't glamorize nothing I do or nothing I've done. I share the story so you can learn from my mistakes and maybe even get a laugh. Wrong to Strong is a channel about the chaotic life that I lived, the PTSD I suffer, the addiction that I deal with, and just my life of, you know, getting out of prison after spending 17 years in and out the system and getting my life together. There's also fitness in it because that's what I do for a living now, and it's just for you guys to like see my life, and I share it with you guys, and I share everything. You know how it is. I keep it 100. Hey, it's the only way. JC, Wrong to Strong. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell button, and remember, don't judge nobody, give somebody a hug, and stay in your lane. JC, I am Wrong to Strong.